Welcome back to another video, guys, and we are now, as of tomorrow, 8 weeks out from the first show of the season and the WNBF Pro show in Germany. I did get this out 14 weeks out and go through my prep setup. I'm going to run through the things that have changed as of late and then also just give an overview of where I'm at and how I'm feeling. First of all, the training. So my training plan regularly stays the same. I have actually changed that just this week, but only this week alone, and that was to prioritize training with a current client who is now a week out from his first show of the year, which is Orin, who was on my previous videos. And because he competes in teen bodybuilding, he gets the legs out, and therefore I wanted to make sure I could train with him fully, and his training plan sees him train legs a little bit more frequently. So I actually added in an extra leg session this week in place of one of my rest days. Don't often like to do that, but for 1 week and 1 week only, I'm more than happy to do an extra session. So that was the only change there, but now going forwards, this will go back to normal and be exactly the same. This here is going to add towards the calories I'm burning each day, and I was on 15,000 steps per day and 0 direct cardio. That has stayed the same, doing 0 cardio in terms of getting on a machine at the gym. But what I've done is I've bought a treadmill at home, and therefore I've been doing like fasted walking 40 minutes each day, and therefore that'll add to my total steps, which has actually gone up now. So we're at 17,500 steps a day on a training day, but on my rest days I've been doing 20,000 steps a day. So it sounds very high, but when you're on that treadmill first thing in the morning and then on your feet throughout the day, it's not too hard for me to get those in. I am tired later in the day, but I'll just look, see what I've got left to do and get those done as well. And having that treadmill at home has been a bit of a godsend. It's been a blessing having that treadmill, and I can just get things done nice and efficiently every single day. Moving on to the diet, and what I'll quickly explain is the reasons for these changes. So basically our body will adapt at some point and stop losing body fat as it starts to just want to go into a bit of a survival mode. So therefore we just make these little incremental changes at the point that we need to just keep the fat loss process going and make sure that we're dropping at a good consistent rate. So therefore this has come up, the steps have gone up, and also the food since 14 weeks out has gone down, but only very slightly. First of all, I've dropped the carbs on a training day, which are now just 200 grams per day, with everything else staying exactly the same. 50 grams of carbs, so as I've explained before, a gram of carbs is 4 calories, so 50 grams of carbs is 200 calories. So nice and simple maths here. I can just take that 4 out, and we have 2,210 calories on a training day. On a rest day, my total protein actually ends up being a little bit less now with the foods that I'm having. So that actually comes down to 230 grams of protein, which is plenty enough on a rest day. And also that does include some of the additional proteins that we get from some of our carb sources. So that's at 230 grams. And the carbs are down to 175. So we've got 25 grams of carbs down, 10 grams of protein down as a total, and that is going to be 35 grams total. Both of these, protein and carbs, is 4 calories per gram, so 35 times 4, we've got 140 calories down. So we'll take that away from the previous 2,300 calories, 2,160 calories on a rest day. Therefore, at the moment, the current setup, this amount of output alongside the training plan and alongside the food that I'm eating, I've been dropping body fat at a consistent rate, and again staying around my usual aim of losing around ½ kilo per week. All of the hydration supplements, they stay exactly the same at this point. And then we come up to the top here, and my start body weight was 77 kilos. When I did this before, I was 74.5, and my current body weight as of today was 72.2 kilos. So again, the body weight's been dropping nice and slow and consistent. I'm getting more leaner, and I'm also staying strong in the gym with my training. So training has been great this week, and I've been really enjoying it. Especially at this point, when you're getting into them single digits of weeks out, the motivation is very high, and therefore I don't think it's a hard thing to get in the gym and have a good session, especially when you can see the body changing and visually getting leaner, as we want to at this point in a prep. Stretching, massage, posing. Keep my stretching regular. I do a little bit of that each day, especially pre-workout now, doing my mobility stuff in the gym, getting everything nicely warmed up before I go into the session. Massage wise, I've been having that every 3 weeks and I've kept that as a regular. I've got appointments booked for the rest of the year, keeping that nice and consistent throughout the rest of the prep. And posing, I'm getting that in each session as well. Even if it's just a little bit at this point, I'll make sure I'm hitting my poses that I'll be hitting in the WNBF shows, and just keeping the transition simple, smooth, and making sure that my posing is on point. Now, on to the most important point, I feel, and that is my current mindset at 8 weeks out. This is my 4th year in a row competing, and each year is very different in terms of mindset and mentality. Back in 2020, after a break from competing, I was in a very low place mentally, and I used setting myself a goal of getting back on stage as a driving force to keep me going day to day and be consistent, be determined, and I felt that that would stand me in good stead to be proud of myself, feel good again, and it definitely served that purpose. And when I went on to win the UK DFBA finals, the following year was another very tough year, going through a bereavement, and that was definitely a very mentally challenging prep. When I won the WNBF British title, the following year I went through a breakup, I had some family things going off, and I ended up in a bit of a low place going into prep last year, but I was just very determined to achieve the goals that I'd previously set for myself and went all in on the prep process, and it stood me in good stead, and I felt very proud and very relieved and very happy when I finally achieved those goals, knowing everything that I'd been through. Now, come into this year, and I feel like I am in a lot better place from learning through all the life lessons that came from the previous years. I've now turned pro. I feel very grateful to be a pro and to have achieved what I have achieved. And I'm trying to take all of that drive into this year and be as good a pro as possible and aim for as high a placings as possible. As I've touched on before, I love what I do. At this point, I know how challenging it can be mentally to prep for a show, and also how much pressure I've put on myself previously to do this and to keep pushing myself every single day. This week has been the first week of this prep where I've started to feel it mentally for sure, in terms of fatigue. And when that fatigue kicks in, you can feel more emotional, you can reflect on things a lot more and feel the emotions of reflecting on those. On top of that, I did say to myself previously last year, if I was to turn pro, that would be it. I wouldn't put self-inflicted pressure on. I would enjoy the process of each show and just go in there knowing that I can enjoy it and see where I come, knowing that I'm up against the best natural competitors in the world. But this week, I must say, is the first week that emotionally, mentally, I've started to put a little bit more pressure on myself again. I want to do well in all of my shows, and I push myself to be as good as I can be, and therefore I want to be up there in the top placings. And as I've spoken about before, I've spoken about why not just set your goal as high as possible and then challenge yourself to deal with any outcome. So this week I've definitely started to feel it a little bit more, maybe seeing people I'm going to be up against, knowing just how good they are, and then feeling a little bit of imposter syndrome. And then also you start to reflect on your life as a whole. This is a massive sacrifice. If you are doing a competition prep and you are giving it your all, other areas of your life will suffer. And while you're feeling tired, you will feel the full effects of that suffering, because you start to think, how much longer can I do this for? And also, is this all going to pay off? You do have to get into a mindset of basically competing against yourself. It can be cliche, but all I'm in control of is being better than I was last year. And I'm at the point now where I am thinking, I want to make sure I smash every single day, win every single day, tick all of these boxes, and be the best on stage that I have ever been. And that is how success happens. We have to push ourselves through the mental challenges, through the tiring days, and get everything done no matter how we're feeling. So that is where the mental battle starts, and that is why mindset I've spoken about being so important. And one of the things that I ask myself at this point is, Who do you want to be as a person? So do I want to be a person that's resilient, that's dedicated, that's determined, that is disciplined, that can get shit done even when you're not feeling great? And that is definitely someone that I want to be. Winning shows is great, but who you are as a person is way more important. Personal attributes will far outlast my time competing and will stand me in good stead later in life when competing is all done. So who do I want to become as a person? Who do you want to become as a person? And are you doing the things that need to be done day in, day out to build that character that you want to be? Another thing that I ask myself every day is, how grateful are you to do this? It's all right saying you're grateful for something on the days that are going well, but are you grateful for it on the days where you're struggling? If I am truly grateful on the days that I'm struggling, I'm going to push myself on them days as well. I'm grateful to be in the gym. I'm grateful to be healthy enough to do the thing that I'm passionate about, to do what I love. So despite how I'm feeling on that given day, I'm going to give it my all. And that is exactly what I'm going to be doing for the rest of this prep. And that's where I'm at right now. 8 weeks out, we're ready to keep pushing. I know it's going to be a challenge. I know mentally it's going to be a challenge. I know that there's sacrifices. I know I'm going to feel fatigue, but I know that I'm going to give my all every single day. And I just really wanted to emphasize that on this video, so that those that are signing up to do a competition prep, if you want to be the best and best version of yourself, you are going to have to give it your all, and that is what can come along the way.